Oh yeah, it's double organic.
Rhubarb, can you imagine eating nothing but raw fruits, vegetables, and the occasional seed or nut all the time?
Nuts? Does that include Nutella?
No processed foods, Ruby.
Dang, just kill me now.
Well, for John Kozak, being a raw vegan is the most natural way to live. Corinne Tontat met with John, who's a 23-year-old kinesiology student at Western, to explore his lifestyle.
Hey, can you replenish the lettuce supply?
Absolutely.
We're at the London Food Co-op, and there's no more lettuce. John is just over 6 feet tall, and he's not as skinny as you might think for someone who doesn't eat any meat. He has short hair, pierced ears, and flawless skin. He makes his way around the fresh produce with the smooth, coordinated steps of an athlete. Each week, John buys 7 or 8 heads of lettuce and basically every other variety of fruits and vegetables available. Today, he's buying a bit more than usual for a potluck he's hosting, because eating out can be tough for a raw vegan.
I can go to a restaurant, although when I ask for a really large salad, they never bring a really large salad. They don't have any idea of how large a salad I'm asking for.
Salad isn't the only thing John scarfs down every meal. Each day, he'll eat anywhere between 20 and 40 bananas. Does he ever get sick of them?
No, because one time I might just be eating bananas plain, another time it might be in a smoothie. So really the variety is endless. Kozak, K-O-Z-A-K. So the case of bananas is $41.89. I have 8 romaine at $2.74.
John didn't grow up vegan or even vegetarian, but at around 9 years old, he made a health decision that wouldn't even cross most children's minds. Looking at other kids at school, John felt he wasn't as active or as healthy as they were, and he wanted that to change. So what did he do? He stopped eating junk food, much to the surprise of his parents.
I've always been very disciplined my whole life. When I was younger, I remember I basically stopped eating junk food. So that would be like cakes and cookies and chips, candies, ice cream, things like that. I basically overnight made a change and never fell back on that. I don't think they ever understood why I never ate my birthday cake.
Making those life-changing decisions wasn't hard for John, and the switch from being health-conscious to raw vegan was a natural progression. Today, John follows what's known as a low-fat, raw vegan diet, or the 80-10-10 diet. He gets 80% of his calories from carbohydrates, 10% from fats, and another 10% or less from protein. But while some world-class athletes like Venus and Serena Williams are converting to raw veganism, the majority of nutritionists still say it's a bad idea. Chris Smith is a research manager in the Department of Nutrition at the University of Toronto. He says that being raw vegan isn't as healthy as people make it out to be.
Doesn't mean that it's necessarily healthier for you when it's cooked, but it releases more, sometimes macronutrients, like certain proteins and amino acids that are essential for you to have, right? The only benefit I could see would be if you would have to essentially eat less processed foods and less prepackaged foods, because there's a lot fewer of those that are raw vegan. But the thing is, that doesn't necessarily, it's not mutually exclusive with eating cooked foods, because as long as you stick to whole ingredients, you can cook them and be just as healthy as somebody who is eating a raw vegan diet.
John knows about these opposing theories, but when he sees athletes like marathon runner Michael Arnstein winning 100-mile races on a raw diet, he thinks they must be doing something right. And while John does lead an alternative lifestyle, he's not doing it alone. He started Raw London, a meetup group for raw vegans, and every 2 months, he hosts a potluck. When it's time to eat, John lays out the spread. It's a table filled with the familiar sights: pad thai, salad, and pizza bites. But take a closer look at the pad thai. Instead of rice noodles, it's a jumble of thin strips of cucumber. The pizza bites? Dehydrated mushrooms stuffed with your usual pizza ingredients: basil and sun-dried tomato. But the biggest bowl on the table? You guessed it, salad. At the table, it's quiet. There's no music, just the crunching sound of hungry people munching away on raw vegetables. But the potlucks aren't just about the food. Because being a raw vegan can be so challenging, The event gives people the chance to offer and receive support from other like-minded people. Michael Kuipers isn't a raw vegan, but he does try to eat as many raw foods as he can.
For me, it's about building community, getting together with great friends, spending a lot of quality time, meeting new people. It's really just about bringing together a community that continuously grows, of people who are interested in healthy living, ethical living, and doing it in an easy and enjoyable way.
And for Courtney's float, the potlucks give her a chance to get some tips from the experts. Courtney was vegan for 2.5 years before she decided to try out the raw lifestyle, and she sees John as a sort of mentor on her journey to becoming raw.
He's very committed to being raw, and the fact that he hasn't broken it in over 2 years is pretty amazing. Like, I tried to be raw last March, and I did it for 3 weeks, and then I was just seduced by cooked food. It was very difficult, but he's very, very committed to being raw, and that's something that I look up to a lot.
Even for vegans like Courtney, it's hard to imagine being raw all the time. John has a level of discipline that's rare. When he's not studying for school, he's training in martial arts. And when he's not practicing his roundhouse kicks, he's cycling 25 kilometers a day from his house in South London to Western University. I called it extreme, but to John, that word doesn't apply. Natural might be the best way to describe it.
It's funny that you call it extreme because every species on the planet eats a raw food diet that is species specific. You know, every cow eats grass, and we are the only species who eats a cooked diet. So that is extreme. What is extreme? That's tough to define.